Okay, minutes from the last board meeting. Minutes from April 23rd, 2014. Board, have you had time to look at them? And look? So, if you've got any changes, mention them, or motion to accept?
I'll move it.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have 3 local laws that we're going to have public hearings on tonight. The first one we'll start with is Local Law Introductory C, electrical standards. It basically is allowing certain companies to do electrical inspections in the town, and I'll let our town attorney just go over this law very quickly.
Yeah, this is a local law that would add as an approved electrical inspector the Inspector LLC. It would delete 2 other entities that we understand are no longer in business, those being the New York Board of Fire Underwriters and Allied Electrical Inspection Agency, Inc.
Okay, if anybody would like to get up and speak, we just ask that you give your name, and you have 3 minutes to comment on this local law. Nobody wish to speak? Since this is not surprising, board, do we want to move to close this public hearing?
I'll move it.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to local law introductory D, known as the Koury Zone Map Amendment. This basically has to deal with property on Clinton Road, and I will let our town attorney again go over this legislation, and then we can discuss it.
This is a local law to amend our zoning ordinance, and more particularly our zoning map, to change the zoning designation of a certain area. It's affecting 6.5 acres of land situated at 31 Clinton Road in New Hartford, and the applicant is George T. Koury II, and he's being asked that the zoning be changed from medium-density residential to high-density residential.
Okay, that being said, if you want to make a comment, either in support of this change or opposed to this change, again, you have 3 minutes if you want. Please stand and just give your name.
Okay, I would note that we did...
One thing, sir.
Yeah, we did receive a recommendation as it relates to this from the planning board. As required by our statute, it has to go to the planning board, and they either make a recommendation to approve or not approve.
Do you want to read that now, or
you should have that? No, I'll do that.
Okay. Sir.
Hi, my name is Dan Gorzinski. I live on Merritt Place. I have a question about this zoning change. This is supposed to be a multiple dwelling endeavor.
Changes from medium to high density.
Joe made.
Within a mile, there's several of these already. You've got Clinton View Estates, you've got Cardinal Estates, housing complex apartment dwelling next to them, Sherman Oaks. What's the one across from Sherman Oaks? Wedgewood. Isn't that basically the same?
Those would be high density, yes.
So why would we have to change it?
That's what we're looking at tonight, and that's what the board will have to decide. So am I to take that you're therefore not supporting this change? Since we already have enough?
I have another question that it's a major concern to several of the people on Merritt Place is there going to be an access from this development onto Merritt Place?
Well, we have not seen a drawing.
Yeah, this is what's called a zone map amendment. It isn't particular to a specific project. In other words, they're asking to rezone to the high-density residential, and then if it were approved,
right,
then what would have to happen were anyone to want to develop, they would have to come in and submit plans, and they would go through what's called a site plan review process, wherein the planning board would look at detailed drawings. But at this point, we don't have any plans in front of us other than a request to make it from medium density to high density.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I can answer some of these questions. I'm George Koury. No, if we put a apartment complex in there, our intent is not to access Merritt. As a matter of fact, if the board does approve it and they want, I would actually cut off a lot on Merritt Road and leave access on 12B only, depending on what the board would want and of course what the people would want. I think this would be a great, location for the people of New Hartford. Yes, sir.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Finish
okay.
what you want to say.
We're looking at 24 proposed units. We're looking at approximately $1,200 rent. So it's going to be a nice project is what we're looking at.
Okay.
And I think, as this gentleman said, there's quite a few projects in the area that are similar to it.
What we don't get in, yes, sir, you're next, but what we don't get into at public hearings is a question and answer. Okay, it was nice for Mr. Koury to explain what he would do if this were passed. However, that's not the subject of what the public hearing is tonight. Public hearing is whether we change the zoning. Okay, after that, if it were changed, then Mr. Koury would have to go to the planning board. At that time, then anybody who would have questions or whatever about the specific plan would go to the planning board meeting and state those at that point. Thank you for your comments, though. I think you answered a few questions. But again, this is just a time to say, I'm in favor of rezoning it, or I'm not in favor of rezoning it. Sir?
I live on Merritt Place, Bruce Terrace. We moved up here because
Your
of
name?
Alan Davis. It's a very, like town setting. There's no big houses around, no development. It was very pretty. You just look down back and see the woods. That's why we moved up here 40 years ago. I don't want to see it changed, just because it's nice. It's a very nice area. We don't need another apartment complex on Merritt Place, on, sorry, 12B. There's enough already traffic and stuff.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Robert Doyle, Edna Terrace. Concerned
Robert
with
Doyle? Edna Terrace.
Edna Terrace. I've been on Edna Terrace for over 25 years, and one of the reasons why we settled in the area was because it was so nice. And to be honest, I mean, I do have a major concern. Mr. Koury said that there'll only be access from the development out onto 12B. 12B is already more congested now. I mean, you have to wait when the Onondagas light changes. You're waiting on Edna Terrace to try and make a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. Also concerned that Edna Terrace would become a pass-through. Because if Edna Terrace, if that's where the access road would come in from the development, then you're looking that Edna Terrace could become a pass-through to Seneca Turnpike. I bought the house so that it was a nice quiet street, even though we're kind of in between two busy roads. We really only have local traffic. I guess I just do have a concern that, making the development. Now, if it does get changed, let's say, the proposal is now a multi-unit apartment complex. It started out as a produce stand at one point, and I know that the conversation was in one of the other meetings, but it already had a problem with traffic concern. And that was only going to be a seasonal. Now you're looking at a 24-unit complex with cars coming in all the time, day and night. I also have a concern with the runoff. We already have concerns in the area with the stormwater drainage issue. My land, typically, if it rains really hard, I have an issue because I have a drainage system that comes off of 12B. It's my neighbor's land. But there's concern with all this water that's going to run off after you pave all of this land, if you will. I guess I'd rather have single-unit family houses developed in that area, because that truly is where the neighborhood is. I mean, we don't have the apartment complexes around us, and I guess I'm not in favor of changing the zoning.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yep. Sir, why don't you go? In the back, sir? Yes.
Yeah, Ken Kostelecki, Clinton Road, and I fully agree with Mr. Doyle, and I'd like to make some other points for the record. And some of the points he's already made, but My talking points is this: our single asset is our home. Apartments will decrease the value of our homes. Our neighborhood has homes, not apartments like Wedgeworth away from highly residential. We want it to stay that way, as Mr. Doyle said. Any zoning changes, one, creates an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. It causes a significant adverse impact on our property owners and adversely affects the general welfare, health, and safety of the neighborhood. There is a significant adverse impact, an increase in traffic in the neighborhood, as Mr. Doyle's pointed out, a decrease in residential property values, which I'm sure he's very set that against our properties going down because of a high-density zoning change. And there will be, obviously, an increase in air pollution, noise pollution, and traffic congestion, and generally a safety hazard for an already too busy Clinton Road, not to mention Merritt. And along those lines, I saw the map, and it's like a paddle, like a ping pong battle. On the Clinton side is the paddle, and on the Merritt is the handle. And the handle is opening to Merritt Place, and it's closed off to Clinton, but that's irrelevant, you know. It could be either way, and it still would be a detriment to both sides. Summary: we bought our houses because we liked the neighborhood. Apartments were not in the neighborhood. Houses are not apartments. Were a big factor of why we bought into the neighborhood, because there wasn't any apartment buildings. This goes back 50 years ago. Apartments mean people, and more people mean more problems. Why would we want to bring more problems to our neighborhood in that case? I also like to point out that the applicant is seeking not a variance, but a zoning change. And if it is granted, he can build whatever is permitted when the board goes into the planning stage of what is a high density in these districts. And several months ago, we learned that the board, at a board meeting, that permitted the uses of all districts were being changed. With the permitted uses unknown to us, we don't even know how the applicant is going to be able to use this property if he does receive the changes. In other words, the applicant could have a grocery store, a car dealership, or something even far more worse. That could be the reason why the applicant is wanting to build apartments as a way to get a zone change for his property. And then later, when the board revises the high-density residential district, he will be able to use that property for many more uses than he would have if the zoning remained as it is now, medium density residential district. And no one really is sure what the new uses would be, as I just mentioned. They might be even a grocery store or anything, or a car dealership. We don't know. Once the board makes that decision, and it grants him a high-density zoning change. So I've said what I have to say, and I hope this doesn't go through. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Gail Melbuck. I'm against it as well. My property is on Grace Place, that's up against pretty much the field part of it there. I'm worried about my property value going down if my dad decides to relocate and I don't want the house and we want to resell it. You're going to have apartments there. What are they going to do to the trash? Is it going to be receptacles? And down the road, how long are they going to keep these apartments up? No offense, but Cardinal Estates has gone downhill. They're not as nice as they started out to be. And then we're going to have to look at that as well. So I don't want it either.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Mark McCurry, Old Marlboro Road. I got no use for a zoning change. I bought the house the way the neighborhood is. I don't see any reason to change it. He can put it in his own backyard, not ours.
Nice comment.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have 3 minutes?
Yes.
Used it.
I have 3 minutes?
We'll let you go for this time because the last time it was in response to a question, so go ahead.
Basically, we're looking to put up an apartment complex which will enhance your area. will not degrade the area. More people coming into an area does not hurt an area, it only enhances it. For anybody that thinks they can stop progress, take a look east of it. Look at the valley, look at Ilion, Frankfurt, Mohawk. Those places are dying, folks. They're dying because there's no progress there, because people are stopping production. Okay? The only thing the valley has now is Remington Arms. Remington's Arms is finished. They're going to pull out of there in 3 to 5 years. The valley is dead. And if you want to see that type of deterioration move this way, that's fine. I have to do something with the property. My feeling is we do an apartment complex. It enhances the area. It increases the tax base. It does increase the value of your homes, whether you know it or not. It does. My other option is, as we have done before, which is approved, as the board knows, we put a pet cemetery in there. I had 800 calls on a pet cemetery. Approximately half of them were in favor of it, people that wanted to buy plots right now. The other half were people that were vehemently opposed to it. That's why we came up with the apartment complex, is because I just can't have 6.5 acres sitting there and not generating some kind of an income. So my idea was to go forward, put an apartment complex, which would enhance the environment.
We bought it with this, thank you.
All right, anyone else like to make a, yes, ma'am?
Barbara Waddington, I live on Greatview Place. In all due respect to Mr. Koury, if he thinks he's going to improve the land, I would like to see it before I believe it, because so far, all he has done is trash it. As soon as he owned it, he came in with bulldozers, knocked down all the trees. He doesn't keep it mowed. And he put up a wire with no trespassing signs on it. This is not the kind of neighborhood that we have. But he's come in and he's totally destroyed the lot and done nothing with it over 5 years. So if he really truly wants to improve the area, build residential instead of apartment complexes, because you're wrong. That will not appreciate our values, that will decrease our property values.
And we did remove the home that was in there,
So-
if you remember.
I am against it, and I hope the board thinks about it very hard before they change our beautiful neighborhood. It's surrounded on 3 sides by residential homes. The only access is Clinton Road, so it's the wrong thing for the area.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Richard Matthews, I live on 12B. I'm kind of kitty-cornered across the street. I've been here for several of the zoning meetings already, and I was kind of prepared psychologically for the pet cemetery, because again, we're kind of like, you know, our back is against the wall. It's obviously one of the proposals that I guess could be stopped. But what I have a couple concerns, because there's a tremendous amount of water that comes down off of that hillside. It's an incline. The lady that lives at, I live at 28 Clinton Road, the lady at 30, oh, okay, 30 Clinton Road, she had substantial damage done to her house because of the water flow coming down, which certainly did not help her, and financially it was very, very difficult and whatever, but there's a tremendous amount of water that comes through there. I don't believe that the storm sewer system can really handle more than it already has. As it is, it's probably peaked out. I'm concerned about the traffic. Already there's about 10,000 cars a day that pass through that location. And through the years, it's just increased, the traffic has increased. And again, it's hard to have much impact on that because, again, this area seems to be growing unlike the valley. We're getting more and more businesses, more fast food places, that type of thing, but there definitely has been more traffic. I've lived there for 24 years, and I've noticed that there is a lot more traffic. So I guess there's really nothing that's going to increase the value of my house by putting a large complex of apartments there. And again, one of the things that I think somebody else brought up is that once the zoning if there was a zoning change, there's really no way to prevent perhaps more apartments being built there or some other type of business being built. We had talked before about this, the market, which again would have been a seasonal thing, and again it would have been a lot of traffic, but This, I think, would actually be a worse proposal than what was the prospects that we had before.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else like to make a comment, one way or the other, for or against this local law, which the board would expect to be deciding on shortly?
See, they raise their hands, how many people are for and how many are against?
No, we don't do that.
Okay.
If you want to make a comment, then we ask you to make a comment. Anyone else? Comment for or against this project? No one else? Is that it? Oh, that's our next person. Motion to close the public hearing, board? Second? All in favor? Aye. We have one more public hearing we'll go through, and then I would think that our board will get to this specific one by the end of the meeting today. Unless, board, you want to do it now? We have a lot of people here just for this, if you want to. What? Okay, we have this on here.
I call to your attention the planning board. As you know, what happens on any zone map amendment application, it goes to the planning board for a recommendation as to whether or not to approve. It also goes out to various interested agencies under SECRA for review and comment, including our fire department, police, etc. The planning board did not recommend approval, and their letter is self-explanatory. They felt that the application was not accurate with regard to slopes, drainage, that there were discrepancies in the application, thus they did not feel that they could recommend approval. I'd also call your attention to Joanne Humphrey's letter of Oneida County Soil and Water, and specifically the 6 comments that she renders about the environmental assessment form that was submitted and the deficiencies or inaccuracies that she felt with regard to that form.
That being the case, we have this local law. Is there a motion to accept this change?
I'm going to make the motion, we reject the change based on the planning board's comments.
Is that a motion to reject, or do we just not make the motion?
Well, it's to deny the
Okay.
application.
Motion by Rich. Discussion. We'll take a roll call vote. Paul?
Nay. Well, I mean, I'm against it.
You're in favor of his motion?
Yeah, because he did it opposite way.
Are you in favor
I'm
of
in
his
favor of his
motion?
motion,
So that's an aye.
The motion was to
Do we
reject.
have this
You're
right
rejecting
now?
it.
Pardon? I know what, I think I know what he
His yes is to reject.
I'm to reject it, yes.
Two eyebrows rising up.
He tricked me, though. He went the opposite way.
Jim?
Yes to reject.
Yes. Yes to reject.
And I say yes to reject. That's unanimous rejection. So we'll move on. Okay, we have one more public hearing here with regards to the zoning law update, local law introductory E. Just as a little history to this, was started last year. We created a citizens committee to oversee this. Joe, our code enforcement officer, headed it up. The committee did a great job. They had several meetings which were publicized, open to the public. After that, we had a presentation to the board here some months ago by River Street, who was the agency that was doing our comprehensive plan for us and helping us with the rezoning here. They did a great presentation. They came back at last month's board meeting to give an informational meeting with regards to the proposed zoning changes, the comprehensive plan, and again, a great program was done by Monica, who's here tonight from River Street, and also Joe, who's our codes enforcement officer. That being said, Herb, would you want to go over this briefly?
Well,
I know there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I mean, this is an application basically initiated by the town itself to update our zoning ordinance and our comprehensive plan. This is a public hearing to take public comment and listen to what the public has to say. As you know, there have been several meetings that we've already had, but the law does require, before the local law can be adopted and the amendment occur, we do have to have a public hearing, and that's what we're doing.
Okay. So again, we have, hopefully you've attended some of these meetings prior to this, so you know what we're discussing here tonight or looking at. If you want to make a comment for or against the zoning update and the comprehensive plan, again, we allow 3 minutes for you to get up and make your statement one way or the other. So, yes, sir.
Matt Stubley, Regional Leasing Executive for Park Outdoor Advertising. I was at the informational meeting and I handed this out before. I'll give you a second copy in case it isn't around. And really, I just want to tell you what I do and what my thoughts are on a certain section. My job is working with landowners, cities, towns, villages, and state to support businesses that want to grow in your communities. Specifically, Section 118-77 signage, E prohibited signs being off-premise signs defined as billboards on page 112. We're opposed to this portion, or at the very minimum, would like to have our locations exempt from that, and here's why. Wasn't that surprising? First of all, at the informational meeting, it was stated that the current non-conforming uses of land use, other things that may be outlying, would be grandfathered in, with the exception of billboards. We're asking to do the same with our 4 established locations. We want to keep, as it says in there, and maintain our current locations that in the past year have supported over 39 businesses representing over 5,841 local jobs. The numbers I derived from using 2012 U.S. Economic Census and also the Business Journal Book of List, which is pretty comprehensive. Also, many of the businesses mentioned in the town are in the town, and I'm sure many are neighbors or friends of yours. Our landowners will lose income is another reason we'd like to have it grandfathered in. But also, another fact, using amortization to exclude our signs will cost the town a significant sum of money because we are due just compensation. So with that all being said, we understand that communities grow and leadership is concerned how those expansions proceed. We only want to seek to continue as a partner and neighbor to help local businesses grow in your community. So please accept this document to your minutes, along with our request to have our 4 locations of changeable copy posters grandfathered in. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Yes, sir.
Jeff Hamadon. Does the proposed change for the whole town, is this where I would speak in favor of changing some agricultural land to entertainment and recreation?
No. We could have your address also.
I live at 111 Jubilee Lane. And I'll have a letter here from the Commissioner of AYSO because the parents of young kids in this area, many of them play AYSO soccer, many of them play Little League. And then as I talk to those organizations, the fields that they play on are restricted somewhat. We have to rent them from the town, but they are not as well kept as if some of these lands could become recreation. So John Restivo, who is the Commissioner of AYSO, writes, I'm in support of the zoning change of the land, and this is a parcel on Tibbetts Road especially. I'm currently the Regional Commissioner of the New Hartford AYSO. I also coach a number of club soccer teams. At both levels, the greatest need is field space, both for games and practice. New Hartford AYSO has over 500 players each season, and there are many club teams. As soccer grows to be a year-round sport, the level of both competition and participation grow. The need to have more dedicated athletic space also grows. So John Restivo, the Commissioner of the local AYSO, is in support of the proposed changes. As a parent, I have a child in Little League, and my kids play AYSO. I have a 3-year-old coming up through. Certainly, we need more recreation space, quality recreation space. The school system, I know, needs more fields, and I think they have a separate plan maybe to put fields over near the junior high school. But I think if there was land, and there's a sufficient piece of land that will be rechanged from agriculture to recreation, if that can be developed, sensitive certainly to the homeowners who are nearby, I think everybody in this town, especially our kids, will win.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Roseanne McPhail, and I live on Oneida Street in New Hartford. And my late husband and I actually started the AYSO program in New Hartford in 1977. And if that zoning would change to recreational, it truly is a dream come true, not just for AYSO soccer, but for Little League and for other youth organizations that would like to use those fields and we need more field space. It's been a continuing issue all through the years. There's never enough fields. The fields are either the town or the schools have to take care of them, and we're always competing with someone to use the fields. And I would hope that the town would invest in the youth of our town. You know, we talk a lot about adding restaurants and houses, and this is a real attraction for people that are coming into our town to know that there are things for the kids to do that will keep them busy, and it will definitely attract more boys and girls to these sports. And I think there's even talk about lacrosse, and it would be a multi-use facility, and I would hope that the town would vote for it.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Jeff Kimball, Imperial Drive. I'm also the vice president for New Hartford Little League. Fully in support of this zone change up in Tibbetts Road area. Currently, we facilitate to over 350 kids, and that's T-ball all the way up through Little League. Right now, parents are running from Miles Elementary School to the Little League field, to Chadwick's field, and Washington Mills field. What we'd really like to do in the Little League area of this is develop fields where parents can bring their kids and not have to leave them and take off to take another kid to another practice, and have games in one location so that they can switch back and forth between the fields instead of having to drive back and forth to different fields. So completely in favor of this zoning change. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Carmen Asper. I've been involved with the Hartford Little League for quite a long time. And I concur with my predecessor here, Jeff Kimball. The youth definitely needs this field. I've been involved for a long, long time, and to see the neighborhood around us, and we can only do so much to that field. There's only so much we can do. We need a place where it can be second to none. I've been traveling through All-Stars, and you see these adjacent fields. Some of them are spectacular. And I say to myself, if New Hartford's such a growing district, why can't we do something for the kids? It's definitely needed for the kids. Let's not shortchange it anymore. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carmen, could I have your last name?
E-S-P-E-R.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else would like to make a comment? Ralph?
Yes, Ralph Humphreys. I would just like to second the speech that the gentleman from Park Outdoors made on the signs. We've only got a few of them in town, and I really don't think we can afford to buy them. And they're not that ugly. And if they're told they can keep them, they can fix them up, and they can put the money into them to get them all fixed up for a lifetime.
Anyone else would like to make a comment, pro or against? Anyone? We do have members of the committee that ran this. Mrs. Blashek, you were here. Would you please stand? Ralph? Who else was on it? Do we have other members?
Yeah, Dave Cabella. Mr. Cabella was back.
Mr. Cabella's back. He was the chairman of the committee. Ralph's here. If you would just stand, folks. I want to give a lot of credit to these folks because they spent a lot of time and effort, and you have no idea, if you were ever to take a look at our town code book, what that entails. It's a huge, huge document. These folks went through the entire thing, looked at it, looked at the recommendations from River Street, from Joe Booth. and did a great job in helping put this all together with a comprehensive plan and the zoning update. So I want to, again, thank the committee for a great job. Okay, one last time, any comments before we close the public hearing? Okay, no comments? Motion to close the public hearing? So motion by Dave, second by Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All unanimous. Okay, did we vote on your electrical?
No.
You said yes, he says no. You want to do that now, get it out of the way? Yes. Okay. Motion to accept or reject the introductory law C, electrical standards.
You can do better than that.
Second. All in favor? Aye, unanimous to adopt. Okay. He's done tonight. All right, thank you folks for coming. We still need comments from the county and stuff before we get into voting on the...
Joe, how do we get overlay recreational in the typical? Was there something?
So we can do it. Any agricultural
ordinance, it'll be permitted. Okay.
That's why they're all for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
You thought they were trying to use that word negative. Assuming that land became available. You missed a week and you guys screwed everything. All right. Okay, moving on. Town Clerk Committee, Councilman Woodward.
We have a 30-day waiver of liquor license for Bonanza Steakhouse, which was the former Ponderosa Steakhouse. I'll move that we allow the 30-day waiver of the liquor license.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Unanimous? All right. Councilman Reynolds, Parks and Recreation.
In your package, you've got the Parks and Recreation seasonal appointments, additional seasonal appointments for the swim, playground, and parks. All budgeted, returning employees. Ask for a motion. I'll make a motion to adopt this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous? Okay.
I've got two other
Go
quick
ahead,
things.
Dave.
Do you want me to wait for?
No, go ahead.
I would just like to acknowledge, well, actually, I need, what did I do with it? The senior center has received a donation, and we need to make the following budget changes. A6772.4, $200, add A2705.1, $200. And also A6772.4, $60, and A2705.1, $60. Those are donations to the senior center. Also, I'd like to point out, I'll make a motion that we do that.
Motion to Dave, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd also like to mention that the Senior Center has been a longtime sponsor of the AARP Driver Safety Recognition, Driver Safety course at the center, and out of 18,000 organizations, we are 36th in terms of quality and quantity, and I think that needs to be acknowledged.
Good.
Also, I'd like to mention that the Hartford Police Department annual commendation for 2013, Sergeant Fontaine, Investigator Patrica, Investigator Colburn, Investigator Sika, Officers Yaxall, Geringer, Hyatt, Petrie, Freiberger, Sacco, Holzer, and Allen all received commendations relative to burglary investigations, robberies, assaults, sex offenses, child pornography, and narcotics cases. Nice job, Chief. Thank you. Thank you.
And an honorable mention to Michelle Moran.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Administrative Secretary Michelle Moran for her outstanding work with the Facebook which has proven to be a valuable tool in your investigations and being able to close cases.
Thousands of times, yes.
Right.
Good. Great job, and thank our chief for the great work that our PD does. Okay, moving on. Public Works, Councilman Messa.
We have a couple summer employees, Rickman, sending documentation on here. I think you said you had two.
Pardon?
Do you have two employees?
I got four. Four was in the budget. I got three. I got one more to interview, but I've got three ready to go tonight. One is Garrett Hutchings, lives at 4 Dorriston Road. Lives here in the town, and I guess $8.50 an hour is what I had budgeted for him.
Do that, it's minimum, right?
Yeah.
Can't go much lower.
Pardon?
Can't go much lower.
Dustin Nicotera, 14 Hillside Ave. He's also lives in the village here. Same. And then Dylan Alexander lives at 18 Tamarack Drive in the town. So those are the three I had, and I had one more to interview. These are pending civil service.
And you would make them effective when?
Probably June 16th.
Wait a minute, I want to apply for something. You got one more.
You always
You want more than $8.50 an hour, I know.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, motion to accept these three, and then,
I'll make a motion.
second?
Second.
Second by Rich, we'll give Rich this one, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Rick?
Yep.
One thing that was brought to my attention, we redid that down on Pleasant Street last year. Spinella did that whole area down there,
Yes.
fixed it all up.
Yes.
We need to have that mowed. Is that you or is that Mike?
Mike.
Can you guys work it out?
Yes.
Because I don't need,
It's Rick. I knew that was
No, it's Mike, no, it's Rick.
We'll figure
I'm not sure if you knew where it was, that's why I just
it.
asked Rick if he would, you guys would work that out,
We'll
because
take care of it in the morning.
as it's going, I mean, I don't know if we need it now, but before it gets too
Yep,
overgrown.
we'll take care of it.
Okay. It's a retention.
Attention. All the way.
You got anything else?
Next, we have bids for the furnace work. Rick obtained 4 quotes here.
I have 4 quotes. Central Heating and Plumbing from Herkimer came in with the lowest quote for the garage, infrared heaters, and then a new boiler for the front offices that will hang on, the new type that hangs on the wall. And then I got 2 quotes. I got asbestos in that old furnace. So they got to take that out along with it. So I got 2 quotes for that also. I don't know if you got those. I just got the.
That's separate and apart from the.
It's separate and apart from the heating.
Are they going to do that, or is it going to be another party?
It's got to be another party that does it. You want to just take care of the furnace first before I get into this?
Yeah, I just had a thought. I haven't heard of central heating. Have we used them in the past already?
Town has it, but I have, he's a good representative.
Can we get references on any of these people?
I can.
Yeah, I give it credit. He's a
What?
He's good. The guy's real good. Yeah, he does great work. He's done commercial buildings. I got to sustain because I use him. So.
Now we better get some references.
I'm
only joking.
There's one.
Oh, well, I've used all,
That's why I said I want
used
some
all
more.
3 of these guys, so I mean, I've used everybody in here.
Yeah?
Yeah, everybody in here is good. I mean, they're all reputable. I've used them all for partners.
I don't know, board, what you want to do? Normally we get some references, but I mean, if we want to take Rick's and Paul's recommendation. Who else is on there?
We had Fred Collis look at the job, we had M&R Heating look at the job, and we had New Hartford Heating and Plumbing look at the job. So it's 4 of them.
Where's the, how much is the little bit?
The whole bid is $25,550 for the garage, and for the infrared heaters in the garage, and it was $9,235 for the offices.
And what were the other bids?
Since
we only had two of them.
We got it right here. Central heating and plumbing was $25,550. So that's what we were getting. New Hartford climate control, $29,350 for the garage, $10,250 for the office. Cowles was $36,900 for the garage, $19,320 for the offices. M&R heating was $32,436 for the garage, and $12,684 for the office.
There's some differences except for
The
two
village
there,
of
right?
Hartford Police Department and Village Hall, and we also do the county office.
Were any of, was M&R, for instance, was M&R, for instance, going to be asbestos?
No, nobody, none of these will do asbestos.
None will do the asbestos?
Because it's entirely different.
I understand, but.
All right, well, let's see what you want to do on the boiler. Then we'll get to the asbestos.
Is this still part of that capital project?
Yeah. I mean, 607.
We are, I'm going to get this one out of the way first, and I'll do the police.
So these are apples to apples, and they're doing all the same. Security, some discrepancy.
Same BTUs, same number of radiant heaters.
Yep. Same footage, radiated.
Were they given any kind of spec to work from, or they came in and just looked at this?
Came in, looked at the building, took measurements on that. 75.
But that's for both.
Yes. So I'm still, I am.
Well, what about that 9,000 to get rid of the asbestos? Doesn't that kick us up a little bit?
No, I'm still sick.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Trust me.
That's all you got, just remember, that's all you got. There ain't no more.
I know.
Board, what do you want to do? Jimmy? Want to get some references and call a few more people? Make us feel better, or what do you want to do?
It's a substantial amount of money, you know, trust Paul and so forth. I'd like to see references, I think.
Why don't you get together, why don't we pass this contingent upon you getting some good references? If you get some bad references, then we're going to have to go back to square one. I mean, it's not like we're under a deadline here, we're going into summer. Board, are you up?
Yeah, that's fine.
As long as you don't get any negative responses, we could okay this? Rich?
I'm for okay.
I'm fine. Like I said, I used everybody in here.
25,9 plus the asbestos?
Yes. I get the two asbestos. One was 98, and out of 42 Genesee Street here in New Hartford. It's a Mid-Atlantic Environmental and Environmental Contracting LLC. Asbestos abatement, 7,000.
So roughly we're talking 45,000.
No,
35.
Well, you get 25, 9,000, and 9,000 for the asbestos.
No. Is that what it was? I thought it was 9,000 for the asbestos, 25. Oh, 9,000 for the office. Yeah.
Just to throw my 2 cents in anyway, if you go with the other prices that are higher, you're actually over 75, right?
Well, yeah, but we could always go and read that. Anyway, Jim, are you comfortable with doing it that way?
Which way?
We pass a motion tonight contingent upon you not getting a negative.
Right, I mean, I guess my concern, just so clarify, these guys aren't hurt when I'm looking at response call in case of a service call. I guess we can go through somebody else looking for a service call, but I'm just wondering, that's my only drawback.
No, I think it's a good idea. And let's get some references from him. You can meet with Rick whenever, today or tomorrow or the next day.
Ask him
Make
what
the
other
calls.
units he's put in
Right.
and similar installations.
He gave you in the RFP, they give you a standard response for maintenance and
Yeah, we'll be there.
things. Got it. I know that.
They did my house. I don't know. Well, we don't book them for service, though. I mean, there's probably a warranty, right?
There's a warranty. Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but.
So I'll make a motion, we move this contingent on a good report from
References. From Jim. Okay, second? Second by Jim. All in favor? Aye. And Paul abstained. Okay, now we go to, let's do the offices, because that'll be easy.
same thing.
Oh, did we do it?
Well, it's the same
Do we want
idea.
to
They
include
did
the
the
whole-
office too, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the same thing.
Okay, so it's on there. Okay, let's go to the asbestos now.
Asbestos was Mid-Atlantic, like I said, environmental, 42 Genesee Street in Hartford. It's dismantling the boiler, taking asbestos out as they dismantle it and get it right out.
Ain't much you're gonna mess up there.
They have to comply with all the.
All the state laws.
So we'll just
Make a
take low bid on that, man.
Make a motion.
Right, Jim?
We accept the low.
They do the air quality and all that.
They have?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion by Dave, a second.
Hold on. The air quality has to be done by a third party of asbestos removal. So this is the abatement, which he would go through an asbestos air quality control company.
He has to arrange for that.
But he can't even call him, he doesn't arrange, Rick's gotta do it.
I've already done that.
Okay.
I had to bring him in to check to see if we had asbestos in the beginning.
Yeah.
Before I could move
Any
forward. That's how I found out we had asbestos.
Are you guys doing this on purpose?
Any abatement company can't do their
His
own
meeting
air
went
monitor.
20 minutes last time.
It was very efficient, he got a lot done too.
He did.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, no asbestos abatement contracting company can do their own air monitoring. You have to get a third-party person to come in, and they can't even call them or hire them or deal with them. Actually, the person that owns the building has to do that. So-
Right, I did that.
Okay, so you're all set.
Okay,
Is there a fee for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
how much is that?
$40 an hour. A sample is $10 a sample. Final report is $100. So it's a couple $100.
Is that a second?
That's a second.
A second by Jim. All in favor? Aye.
Is that for a little bit?
Did you vote aye on this,
Yeah,
or you
that's
abstaining
fine.
too?
No, that's fine with this.
Unanimous. Okay,
Next, we put together comprehensive paving for this year. You guys have a copy of that?
Everybody's got a copy of it.
Broken down by roads and
Broken down by roads,
dollar amounts.
dollar amounts, and these are the quotations for each road. There's one that I did this afternoon that is not in this list, and that is Sherman Lane and Grasshopper. I pulled one road that I looked at, and those two roads were worse condition, so I yanked one and put those in its place.
Where'd you pull out?
I pulled out, I'm gonna patch on Janet instead of doing the whole road.
Okay.
I do.
Rick, you and I talked about this. This still leaves out Tibbetts, or is it Tilden?
It's still, yes. I could put, there's one area of Tilden I'm going to do some shoulder work on, the bad spot, and probably patch in front of that. But it's taken a lot of patches on Sherman and Sherman Lane. As I talked to Pat, I talked to the city of Mohawk Valley Water Authority. There's several water board patches. New Hartford had about 50 breaks this winter throughout our roads. And there's no plans in the near future of replacing or fixing the infrastructure in the ground.
No, I know, we've got, even so, we've got to do something.
Right,
Tilden. I mean,
right.
it's just wrong.
Is there sections that we can do that haven't been affected by the water breaks or anything that the water boards are working on that we can address? Tilden?
I don't understand your question.
No, well, because Tilden is a long road. What if we go towards the upper part by Higby? I mean, where's the water main breaks, I guess is the question.
From Citron down. So that leaves the top.
By Bedford Circle is where it's the worst, I would say. It's actually crumbling into the roads.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the rest of these, but somehow we gotta get some money and get somewhere done on Tilden. I mean, we've promised those people for 2 or 3 years now, and it's just, it's getting worse and worse.
You'll see like Rollingwood in there, Rollingwood and Hubbardton up in Woodbury. This past winter, roads that I thought I could get into a next year budget type thing, just came apart. So there's quite a few of those that I hadn't planned on this year that I've got to do something with. There's a bad winter.
On Woodbury,
there's 2 processes now in Woodbury to save a few dollars. Part of it's slurry from where we left off last year, off the hill to the circle, and from the circle to Foxcroft. That's a major mill it out.
Okay, so you're talking about basically from Hartford Road to Foxcroft?
We did a couple.
Yeah, the lower section.
The lower side last
done,
year.
but
Yeah, with
the whole
construction
thing.
ones.
Okay, also Appler, didn't we do Appler last year?
Appler we did, but this is we come back when we pave, co-pave the following year, we come back in and
This
put that
was-
story on it, that's the
okay.
finished go.
Right, okay.
Okay,
What's the total on
About 537,000. I've got
it's over the budget, isn't it?
I've got 240,000 in the budget for paving. I've got 160,000 chip money,
What was the first thing?
40,000. That's what we put in the budget for paving this year.
400. We had 200,000.
well, that was 160,000.
160 of it is chip money, so that's 200. I had $298,000 come back from multimodal.
I think only 278 though, going forward to,
That should be 298.
well, 298 came in, but I think we booked a receivable, so we can only roll 278 forward. We look back at it, so I remember 278, not 298.
I'll give my paperwork and I'll meet with you.
Well, either way, we were off by 20,000 one way or the other, but we're at 478 or 490.
Okay, so we're at 498.
Then there's $18,000 additional that the governor gave us this year for a bad winter. So that's another 18,000.
We received that?
We will get it, but the state of New York has made things a lot tougher this year. I've got to have quotes. I've got to have save the tickets when the truck brings me the material. I've got to have the canceled checks.
So when that money comes in, we'll do a budget adjustment, increase payment.
I never had a show of canceled checks before. This is the first year. So when we pay for it.
So that brings us to what, 520?
And then we talked about the $20,000. What do we want to talk about? There's $20,000 in the budget for curbside trash pickup, which we are not doing. And we'll transfer that maybe into paving also.
So if we transfer all that and we get the money from the state, we're worried about it.
And these are a little high.
Okay.
That's why we get you an extra cushion.
I don't think we need a motion on this, just a consensus from the board, because this is Rick's thing anyway. He should submit it to the board, which he is doing here, so I guess we just take a consensus to okay it or not okay it, and let him start.
Next meeting, you'll have the forms, the agreements that will sign. I just want to throw this together
Meantime, we
quick.
want to get going on this
Right.
thing. Any, who's in favor?
I'm in favor. I just want to know if we need, what you're saying, we need that 20,000, I was making a resolution from the trash, to move that line item over.
Make a budget adjustment.
If we feel as though we need it. I mean, is that something,
You want to do it now, or you want to wait until we get to the point where? We really need it. On the insurance money?
Yeah.
We would have booked it as a receivable for the prior year.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, why don't we wait, because we're gonna have to make a budget adjustment for the 17 that comes in from the state. At the same time, we can make that budgetary adjustment for the 20,000 curbside. In the meantime, let's just make a consensus. If everybody's in favor, Rick, go ahead and get moving.
Okay, thank you. The last thing on the agenda was the stuff we had for the auction. The skid steer came in, it's a 5-year-old machine, came in at 20,000. It's not enough for me to, I don't have some of the difference, but not all of it.
Okay.
The pickup truck got 22,500. That's, I can replace it for nearly, I got money in the budget to do that. The Dodge van, 2000 Dodge van, about $1,550. The 2004 Crown Victoria Police Cruiser, about $1,750. The 2008 Dodge Durango Police Suburban, about $4,900.
You took a police vehicle for your own highway department?
Oh, I sell them for him.
Oh. Good job. You used the money. Good job.
It's a good deal, right? And then the old cement mixer, about $420. So these,
That's it?
that thing's 25 years old.
Oh.
So I called them today. They're waiting for the letters. These come from the people. So I just want approval from you that when I get the letters, we're good.
What letters?
I gotta get a letter from the auction people that the people who bid on this are going to buy it. They bid on it, but we gotta get. So that's where we are in that.
Have we declared it all surplus?
Yes, everything was declared surplus.
Okay.
Okay.
We're all set there.
Thanks, Rick.
Jim, you got anything else? Okay. Paul, you got anything? No? Rich, you got anything else?
One thing, I had a conversation with Judge Copeland today. He says they brought in $4,185 in parking tickets.
Yeah, I got an email from Judge Winslow.
Those are past parking
The
tickets?
past parking tickets.
Okay, moving on. Vouchers. Board, did you get a chance to review them, audit them, look at them, sign off on them? If so, a motion to accept?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Dan, you got anything? No? The audit?
The audit report for 2013 should be finalized, and we should get the reports next week. As soon as I get them, I will forward them to you in your mailbox, and we can hopefully discuss those at the next meeting.
Okay. That being said, I got 2 items for executive session, shouldn't take long. One is dealing with a specific employee, and the other one is with regards to union negotiations. Motion to go into exec? All in favor? Aye. We'll take 3 minutes, let everybody leave.